We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live.
Hello, welcome. Volume 2, Episode 3, The Joy of iRacing. We're just going to have a bunch of happy little accidents in our Formula V car, so I don't see any point in really making a super fancy paint job for it. What I have envisioned is a very dull red, matte red vinyl wrap, inexpensive, kind of ugly, because who wants to spend a whole bunch of money on a vinyl fancy wrap or an expensive paint job that I'm just gonna crash and wreck anyway, right? So let's get right into it. As per usual, I've got a few things preloaded. I've got my template that I downloaded off of iRacing. Haven't done anything with it. All fresh layers. Excuse me. I have pre-exported it into the proper file. Formula V, paint, iRacing, local data, app data, etc. on the way back. I've got my blank file that I'm going to be using for my spec map. It's just a black one. It's already pre-exported as well, so the workflow can go fairly quickly. I've got some claw marks that I've downloaded off the internet. These will end up being tears in my vinyl. There will be rips through the vinyl. For now, this is what they are. Go get yourself something. Whoops, I'm selecting somehow. There we go. Go get yourself something that moves without the background. You need it to be transparent for this to work, or else it's just not going to work properly. Get yourself one of those. And today my logo is Willie Johnson's Rods and Shafts. Cranking it since '84. So, go get your template, get it exported into the proper folder. Make yourself a new file the same size as your template. Export it to the proper spec map file. Get yourself your logo. Get yourself some scratches. And while you do that, pause the video and come on back. Oh, happy little accidents in our Formula V, so let's get right on down to it. Okay, as normal, first thing I'm going to do is just go straight on over and start deleting that basic spec map layer. Going to expand these layer groups so I can see what's happening. Hit that wire so I can see the shape of the car, the number block, so I can see where the numbers go. Because this spec map can't go over top of these numbers or it's going to make the numbers look wonky. So I got to be careful not to go over top of them. If it was going to be a custom number paint, then I wouldn't worry about that. I'd put my own numbers on wherever I wanted to, and I'd actually kind of blend them all in with the paint job that we're looking for. But I'm not going for that because nobody's going to pay a whole bunch of money for Trading Paints Pro just to have custom numbers on a Formula V. You know what I'm saying? So, body base. I'm going to pick a color for that. I want that dark dim red color, something like that, I guess. Maybe not quite as dull as I want it to be, but that's as dull as it's going to get. Another hot button that we're going to learn today is control and comma, because that is our fill with foreground. Bring in my little old logo. I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees clockwise so that it faces the right direction on the hood of the car. Grab my move tool and move it over here somewhere like that. It's a little too big, so I have to shift scale, shrink it down, move it back here. Get it in the right spot again. Something like that. That's pretty decent. Zoom it in with my positive button so I can see a little better, line it up. A little more right about there. That looks pretty good. I think that'll do. Let's scale that and zoom back in. Pretty close, dead center. M for move. Grab a hold of it. Just move it over. Perfect. Negative on my number pad just to zoom back out. That's pretty well what I want. So let's get rid of these numbers for the second and the wire. Control and E for export. Let's go back over to our iracing. This is what the thing looked like before. This is what it looks like now. Very nice. Very nice. Too shiny. I want it dull. So let's go back over here. I need to change the spec map. So I don't want it any metallic. I want it kind of rough, and I want it pretty well as matte can get. That should do us, I think. And then back over here, control and comma to fill that. Control and E to export it because it's already been exported to the proper files into the iracing. Refresh. Yeah, nice and dull, matte, vinyl looking rough wrap. That's pretty well exactly what I was wanting. Okay, perfect. But now that we did that, we washed our sticker out. Our sticker looks like shit. So I want to fix that. So back into the old Gimperoonie, into our thing here where our sticker is. Going to give us another layer just like that to paint on. I'm going to call this one Spec Mask. It's kind of the closest thing I can get to it. To the drop buffer, I'm going to Shift O to grab colors. I'm going to grab that. Oh, Shift O is a new hot button for you to learn. Grab colors. Instead of going all the way to select from color, Shift O, grab that color. Back over to our spec mask, and I'm going to control and drop that color in over top of it just like that. I'm going to grab this spec mask layer and bring it into our spec map, throw it on. And like a big bonehead, I didn't even change the color, so now I have to delete it. Back in over here, and we're changing this spec map color. I want it to be shiny, normal, no color, no nothing, just normal like that. Back over here, control and comma, I'll fill that. Grab that spec mask, bring it back over into our spec map, throw it down. Control and E to export it. Back over to the iracing. Let's reload. There. My sticker looks good again. Nice and shiny. Just like a sticker should, right? Awesome. So now that the car is all stickered up and it's got some vinyl put on it, I want to make it look like it's been driven by, well, by me, actually. So it's got to look a little more realistic than that. It needs scratches and shit. Back into GIMP, back over to the car. Let's select none. There's hot buttons for that one too, but it's real complicated and it hurts my fingers. Okay, so let's grab some scratches. Our deadly, deadly scratches. Black's not gonna do. We want it to look like there's metal shining through. So let's do a quick little trick. We're going to duplicate this whole layer just like that. Then we're going to grab it and move it down just a little bit and over a little bit. Well, hang on a second. Yeah, let's do that. Let's move it. I'm just trying to think of which way I want to put it on the car. Gotta have, it's gonna have shadows. So I'm gonna do that. Alright, good. Shift O to grab colors. I'm going to grab these colors. And I want to change the color because this is going to be scratches. It's going to look like bare metal. So I need to change the color. But it can't be just solid white, or else it's going to end up looking like chrome when I'm done. So what I need to do is I need to get a paintbrush, one with texture. I'm going to use texture hose. I'm going to turn the opacity down a little bit. Alright, something like that. I'm going to shrink it down. It's really big. I'm going to shrink the size down. It's probably good. Let's see. I don't know what the spacing is going to be like. I'm going to have to experiment with that real quick. Hardness is fine, force fine. Okay, let's try. A little too much, so I'm going to reduce the opacity just a bit. Control and Z. Try it again. Still too much. Control and Z. Control and Z. Okay, well, I don't think it's the opacity that's the problem. I think it's the spacing. No, maybe it's the hardness then. Here, let's see. Nope. Needs the hardness to be all the way up. Spacing needs to be down, maybe. Yeah, okay. Well, I'm going to have to just click it. I'm trying to get that real nice texture that this brush gives, but I can't get the spacing quite right. Okay, with any luck, when we put that through a spec map on the car, it should kind of look like bare metal underneath of the car, or underneath of the vinyl. So let's go ahead and try and throw that on. Move it down to where I'm going to want it, sort of over here. But that's not the right angle, so I'm going to shift the rotation. That way, rotate. Now the rotation is pretty good, but it's supposed to look like scratch marks. So I'm going to shift the scale. I'm going to change that so it's not locked together, so I can squish it up like that. Something about like that, I guess. That looks pretty good. I'm going to stretch it out a little bit this way. That's pretty good. I like that. All right, let's scale that. And M remove. I'm going to grab on. Let's see. Oh, wait a second. There's a whole ass thing I forgot. There's these. I can't go over that. So I have to delete this layer because it's not going to be any good. I'm going to bring in another one. Yep. I'm going to bring this one down here. I'm going to shift the rotation just a little bit. Oops. Control Z, Control Z, Control Z, shift rotation. Oh, shift scale. Oh my gosh. Control Z, shift rotation. There. That's better. Okay, let's do that. Now shift scale. There we go. Make sure that's unlocked so I can squish it and stretch it at the same time. Something like that. Sure, that looks good. M for move. Grab a hold of it. Pull it over here. That's about where I imagine on the car it should go. We're kind of in the middle between the wheels, but I need to stay away from that number box. I think that should be good. So I'm going to need a whole bunch of these. I'm going to make a layer group right off the hop. grab this, put it in there. Now, one set of scratches isn't enough. This dang thing, it's been scratched up pretty good, you know. It's kind of been put through the ringer a little bit. So it's going to have multiple. So I'm just going to duplicate a couple layers, and really give it some scratching there. Yeah, that's probably more accurate to what my car is going to look like after a race. So, considering that these are so alright, I'm going to merge them all together. Merge that down. Merge that down. Now they're just one group. I'm actually going to grab that group and duplicate it. Grab onto it. Pull it over to the front of the car. Because the front of the car, without a doubt, is going to be scratched to shit too. Doesn't quite fit the way I want it to, so I'm just going to rotate it. Shift R. Something like that. Rotate that, and then I'm going to move it. Alright, like this, I guess. Yeah, that looks pretty good to me. So I'm going to export that. Oh, first I'm going to hide the spec map layer. There, now I'm going to export that. Go back over into iracing. Let's have a look. Looks pretty scratched up to me. Cool, okay. That's kind of what I was going for. That scratchy look. Awesome. So, problem is it's only on one side. It's not on this side. So, back into GIMP we go. Let's just do it real easy. We're going to merge that layer down so all of that is one big layer. We're going to take that. We're going to duplicate the whole thing. Shift and flip it like that. Grab it to move it just like this. Bring it on over. We're going to want to put a guideline up here though. So let's grab this one. So we know where to put our guideline. And then we can grab this one. Match it to our guideline. And I'm just going to sort of eyeball. Yeah, that's probably close enough. Alright, but we all know that if the front of the nose is that scraped up, that this part of the nose is going to be also super duper scratched up. So let's just go ahead. We're going to add another layer to draw on. And call that one under the nose. There, just like that, under the nose. There it is. Now, we're going to take that same paintbrush that we used earlier, and we're just going to give it that textured metal look, because it's got nothing left. It's just scraped all to it. But I accidentally drew on here, so I gotta change back to my other thing here. Go back over there, and there. Zoom up here. Ooh, it's too big. I gotta shrink it down a little bit. Get that off there, just like that. That looks pretty darn good to me, I think. Let's get rid of these number blocks and export that. Go back in iracing and have a look. yeah. But our metal. Oh, we got a little bit of metal sticking out here. We're going to have to get rid of that. Check over here, make sure we don't. No, we're good there. But our metal doesn't look super shiny yet. So we're going to have to go and fix that too. Now, here's where my problem is. I'm going to make my brush size just a little bit bigger. I'm still on the eraser. I'm going to zoom in. Oh my goodness, my brush is pretty small still. There we go. I'm going to pick the right layer to erase this one. And then erase it. Just like that. Export that whole thing. Happy. But we gotta fix that. This. So that our metal is shiny. So back into here again. Need to make a whole new layer. This is a scratch mask. We'll call that because it's the mask for the scratches. Let's go down to these ones and we are going to shift 0 or shift O rather to select that. And before we go ahead and start doing shit, we got to pick the color we want because I keep forgetting to do that. So, the color I want, we want lots of metallic. I want to get rid of most of the roughness. It's metal. It's pretty smooth, right? And speaking of smooth, it's pretty shiny. Now, generally, this combination makes chrome. So I'm just going to crank the shininess down just a little. Crank the roughness up just a little. Something like that, I think. I think that should do. I'm going to try that. It might be a little too shiny, but I think it'll be fine. Back to the scratch mask. Control, comma. We're going to fill that in. Over here to this one, we're going to shift O to pick that color. And then back over to the scratch mask. Control, comma to fill it in. And then we're going to get under the nose too. Don't forget under the nose. Shift O to grab that color. And then over on the scratch mask. And Control, comma to fill it in. Control E to export it. Oh, what a silly. No, now let's hide that. Control E. Re-export that. Grab our scratch mask. Bring it over to our spec. And then from here, Control E, export it back over to the iracing. Reload this bad boy. And now it looks like shiny metal shining through underneath of a ripped up dull matte final. Kind of a little bit hard to tell in the UI because the lighting in here sucks. So I'm going to take this out on track, clip a little video just to show you that it does look shinier in the light on track. It will look like scratches. It'll look like as if this car has been in an accident, excuse me, before the green light, before anything even happened. But that is very par for my course. And I guess that'll be a wrap. I'm going to go upload it and race it. You guys go paint your cars and upload it too. Race it. Have fun painting.